First at 4, the highly anticipated Made in Old Town manufacturing project has announced that they will no longer be moving forward on that project, even after buying multiple buildings, all through a multi-million-dollar loan from publicly funded Prosper Portland.
Fox 12's Spencer Schott spoke with business leaders in Old Town as they're starting to shift their own plans after this news broke. Spencer?
And Nora Riel, the banner for Made in Old Town is still up on the side of the building here on 5th and Davis, even though the business itself has gone under. But this is leaving other business owners asking the question, what's next?
A little disappointment, but not surprised.
Owner of Everett Street Auto Works, Jake Hammer, says he was excited when he heard the Made in Old Town project bought the buildings across the street from his shop.
I thought it was a good shot in the arm for the neighborhood. I thought it would be good to get more normal business people, working people down in the neighborhood again.
Fox 12 sat down with startup owners back in 2025 after they bought their first building. They told us at the time there was a lot of industry excitement around their new approach to reducing waste in manufacturing shoes. But that excitement went away earlier this month when the Made in Old Town board posted to LinkedIn saying in part, "We are not going to sugarcoat it. The future of Made in Old Town is uncertain. Tariffs have rocked the industry. The rapid growth that defined many startup brands have slowed considerably. Global economic uncertainty and market volatility have created an operating environment none of us anticipated." Other organizations in Old Town, like City Team Portland, were also shocked by this news. Executive Director Lance Orton told me over the phone they had an agreement with Made in Old Town to create a workforce development opportunity for the men and women at their residential recovery program. But no business means no partnership. But there were some, like City Councilor Mitch Green, who had reservations about this project since the beginning.
When I looked at the term sheet and the resolution that authorized the loan, I realized that they were outside of the normal lending guidelines for Prosper Portland development loans.
And he wasn't the first one to see the red flags. Metro denied giving more than $500,000 grant to Made in Old Town back in 2024, saying their plan was unclear, too conceptual, and had no financial feasibility. Councilor Green adds, the loan Made in Old Town got from Prosper Portland also contradicted the Old Town action plan passed by City Council.
Somewhere along the way, there was a decision made to pivot away from an international district or investing in our, various cultural institutions in Old Town, and then tried this other approach to develop a kind of sneaker industry in Old Town. And I questioned that change in direction.
While the shoe manufacturer will not be moving into this building in Old Town, business owners like Hammer hope something will soon.
Need to get, out of the doldrum of people not wanting to come down here, not only for work, but for anything social or to support businesses.
So what is next? Well, the answer to that is still unclear. In a statement from the Prosper Portland executive director, they say they are working with the Made in Old Town leadership. They have a lien on this building because they financed the loan, and we'll talk about potentially taking possession of this building once they work that out with the leadership of Made in Old Town. But at this time, it's still unclear. Reporting live in Old Town, Spencer Schott, Fox 12 Oregon.
Spencer, thank you.